We have yet more proof that how to trade books don't work. So in this video, which is kind of unique, we have an interesting situation, which I would call courageous on this person's part, that gives us more insight into all of this. But then I want to show you why books don't work and then give you a solution and a much better way to go about it instead of using books and how to learn to use something like I show you here later in this video. But also I want to let you know that I don't mean literally every single book, because at the end of this video, I'll show you a book that I've read that I would, am very, very confident it can help you out in your trading journey. So what is this unique situation? Well, like I said, I've done videos on this before, and in this video was titled, Want to Learn How to Trade? Don't Read Books, Here's Why. So book, no good. Let me give you some reasons why they're no good. And we come back, and this comment happened a year ago. And this person's reply was, well, because you want to make people just watch your videos. And you know what, that's a more than fair point, because I do offer this YouTube channel, I do offer trading courses, so I understand somebody's point as, well, the only reason you're saying books don't work is because, well, you want us to watch your YouTube videos, you want us to buy your course. Again, I totally understand, that's not why, but I do fully understand that may be your perspective. But here's the interesting part, and here's what I think is very courageous, because they didn't need to do this. But they came back basically a year later and they said, bro, you were 100% right. Books are worthless, especially technical analysis books. So again, props to you. You left a comment a year ago disagreeing with me. You came back a year later and said, hey man, you were right, I was wrong. Nothing but respect to you. In fact, I would argue I think society could use a little bit more of that. So I commend you and I thank you for sharing that so people can kind of get an insight into, yeah, you know what? And I hope this person didn't waste like a year of time. I hope it didn't take them a year to figure that out. I can't say that, but in the spirit of let's try to be as efficient as possible with our time, books just don't work. So why don't they work? So you know how a book works. There are images, right? And an image is just showing you something that's already happened. So in a book, especially one on technical analysis, you're going to have something like this, where they're going to show you, and they'll call it some formation, they'll call it some pattern, and they'll point out where, well, you had this, big move to the downside, and then you had this low, so you could have bought right there. And sure, it wasn't the exact bottom, but if you give it a little wiggle room, you would have been okay, and then you would have had something very much so in your favor. Right? That's not very difficult to do. Why is it not very difficult to do? Well, because you know what's happening next. You know that this thing actually went back upwards. So for that author, they can very quickly sit there and find exactly what they want to choose in order to fit their narrative, and they can fit a bunch of nice little examples into their chapter about whatever they're calling this pattern here, where you wait for something to get overextended, you find the low, you buy the low, you give it. And I am, by the way, just completely making up this pattern, but that's kind of just illustrates a point here where, when you have hindsight, it's easy to do something like that. So even here, you can say, oh, look at this big move down. Okay, you buy there, you give it some wiggle room, and then it came back up. And of course, you would want to sell. Where would you want to sell? Well, you'd want to be selling right there. Well, why do they say you want to sell right there? Well, they'll come up with some other reason, but what they really are saying is, well, because, we can see that it rolls back over. So that's why books don't work. All they're doing is showing you hindsight. All they're showing you is what's already happened with pictures. And it's very easy to trade on pictures, but more specifically, it's easy to trade with hindsight. So what is the solution to this? Well, step one is get yourself a platform, a broker that has a simulator, that has a platform. I'm using Webull here right now. So if you want to use Webull and use this platform, then I'll put a link down below. And they're always running great promotions, giving out free stocks, free money for signing up. That is an affiliate link, just as an FYI for transparency's sake. But if you want to get some free stocks in your portfolio, if you want to get a good quality platform that'll allow you to practice like I'm about to show you, then definitely use that link down below. But here's the big difference. Here's how you should practice. Here's way better than books. I want you to look here, because this is real time. And now, what do? What are you going to do? Now, why has it become difficult all of a sudden? Well, remember, over here, we could, quote unquote, look to the right. We could look over here and know what happened next. But here, when we look to the right, what do we see? This big void of nothingness. And that's how trading works. The big void of nothingness. And when you can start to prove that you can make good decisions, consistent decisions, looking to the void here of nothingness where you do not know what's coming next, then that is going to be where you are going to develop true skills, true confidence as a trader. And that is very, very important because we want to make sure that you are putting yourself in the most realistic spot. And I get it. I'm the same. I have a book sitting somewhere on my desk that I used that is just, in hindsight, yeah, Clay, what was I thinking? Well, I know what I was thinking. I know what you're thinking. We're grown up. Hey, reading is good. Grab a book. They're good. And in so many situations, that is completely true. Definitely read. Reading is not bad at all. In fact, my oldest daughter loves to read, and that's fantastic. But that's just one of those weird things where there's a disconnect in the world of trading. Now, I did mention earlier that what is a book that I would recommend, and right here, definitely check this one out. I'll put a link down below. And the big difference here is that this is a book on trading psychology. And I don't know how new you are, but trading is very mental. Trading can be very emotional. There can be a bunch of things going on, and that book can help you in that regard. And I guess I can't say for sure now that I think about it, but off the top of my head, I cannot remember anybody that's ever said, yeah, Clay, that was not a good book. Everybody's like, wow, that book was like describes me. So definitely check that one out. Again, I'll put a link down below if you are interested in it. So that is a book that I would recommend. So it's not that I don't recommend any sort of books. I just mean these books more so on how to trade from a use charts, do this, do that perspective, because as I just showed you, oh, of course, it's easy when you know what happened, when you look to the right and you see what happens next. But when you look to the right and you see that big dark void of nothingness, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than that. And I still understand some of you may be saying, Clay, yeah, I get it. But you're just saying all this because you want us to buy your course. And sure, I'd love for you to buy my course, but that's not why I'm saying it, because like I said, I mean, cut me some slack. I'm literally offering you up proof in the sense of, hey, here's somebody that thought the way you might be thinking and then came back a year later and said, you know, they were wrong. Then I just showed you some information on why. And then, so, you know, hopefully you can cut me a little slack in that regard. But again, I do understand where you're coming from in that perspective. But what about you? Have you tried the book route? Let me know your thoughts down below. And my guess is maybe they help a little bit, but I mean, I can read a book on how a hammer, you know, what a hammer is, what a nail is, but does that mean that I actually know how to go build some sort of multi-million-dollar mansion? Of course not. So like I said, just keep that in mind regarding books. And again, if you want the link to that platform, get those free stocks, get whatever promotion they're running, I'll put that below. If you want the link to the book I just showed, I'll also put that link down below, and hopefully I can help you out in those regards. But yes, books don't work. Avoid them. Don't waste your time. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.